We want to welcome everyone here this afternoon to bid farewell to Tim Hubbs. As Tim has a seat over here. My name is Cliff Hendren, and I'm the CFO here at the hospital, and I've had the pleasure to work with Tim since I got hired here a year and a half ago when he brought me on. And it's been a great pleasure to work with him. You know, and although this is his last day here, the hospital will be open for business tomorrow. And tonight, all 24/7. So as Tim leaves, there'll be a transition, and we'll have new leadership here at the hospital. I'm here to introduce to you some very important people that have helped this hospital through the years and have helped Tim with his job here at the hospital. First of all, I would like to introduce to you Michelle Hubbs. If you would stand, please, Michelle.
I'll be honest, since we've been married, I've never had him around very much. So I'm not sure how this is going to work out. I have a feeling that I'm just going to be the happiest gal in the world. I love him. So.
Next, we have a former chairman of our board, Fred Jones.
All right, Johnny. I have a conundrum here. I can either be original. I can either be original and carry on, or I can not be original and borrow quotes and be very short. So I think I know where the preferences lie on that. So I'm going to borrow 3 quotes, or adapt 3 quotes in honor of Tim here. And the first, it goes something along this line. You know that behind every good man there's a great woman, right? Well, behind...
Kristen?
Figuratively. Now, you'll love this, Michelle. You're causing me to leave my script here. I was going to say, behind every good idea, there's a great woman, but here behind this particular good idea, there were 3 great women, okay? One, of course, it wouldn't have been possible without Tim's mother. Sorry she couldn't be here today, but we know that she's made a great and profound influence on your life, and therefore our hospital. Obviously, Tim's service as CEO would not have happened without Michelle's permission, or her motivation, however you want to consider that. And last, I don't know if Ann Hyder is here this afternoon or not, but Ann is a former board chair, and she was on the board when it became apparent to the board that we needed to change the leadership at the hospital. And without Ann's intuition and her persuasive ability, I'm sure that we would not have been able to have Tim serve as our CEO. So thanks to Ann and those 3 great women. So the next quote that I will use, I guess, I didn't realize it'd be a placard of President Kennedy's famous quotes, but I'll borrow from that along these lines: ask not what your community can do for you, but ask instead what you can do for your community. And I think that really fits best Tim's service to our hospital, because I have never seen in my life a more sacrificial leader, someone who did this not because of a personal goal necessarily, but because of a calling and a belief that he might be able to stand in and lead an organization that needed a leader with a heart for the community. So I appreciate that quote and his service in that regard. I will say that one of the first things that Tim did, and it was a challenging time for our board, because for the past several years it has been difficult financial times all around the community and around the country. And one of the first things Tim did was he saw that the staff and the people that work at this hospital and who take care of our patients, they needed an investment in their futures and in their well-being, and that was the first thing that he did. He called for pay increases to the employees of the hospital. So his heart was in the right place. And last, let's see if I can remember the last. Something goes like this. You know that in these terrible economic times, we all feel like bad things and challenging things seem never to want to end. But truly, all good things do come to an end. That's where we are, Tim. You've been a great thing for our hospital. Appreciate you. On behalf of the board, my time as chair was made much easier because of your arrival. And I know our patients and staff have been benefited, so thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Next, I'd like to introduce last year's chair of the board, Randolph Bolgen.
Thank you, Cliff. I could, and maybe will, take the easy way out and say to you what Fred said. Because that pretty much sums up the feelings of a lot of us. I guess I'm certainly this is my last year on the board. And Tim is the 5th CEO that's been here since I've been on this board. And there's no telling where we would be now if we had continued on the path we were when Ann and I think Fred was part of the influence to convince Tim to come help us out on the board. And I can only hope that we will be as well served going forward under mission supervision or leadership as we have been. We certainly can't be any better served. And so I want to say to you, Tim, thanks from me, thanks from behalf of the board and the community, and we appreciate what you've done. Thanks.
And lastly, I would introduce to you the current chairman of our board, Jan Unger.
When Tim came and made some very difficult decisions, he had some ideas, and a lot of times they required money, dealing with employee pay, dealing with physicians, hiring other surgeons, to increase the volume of business that we do. And he would come up with these suggestions, and there was limited resources. And I would tell him, I said several times, I said, Tim, you only have so many silver bullets. But with his leadership, he was able to utilize those silver bullets. There's a little book, a devotion book on leadership that John Maxwell has written, and there's a little introduction in there. It says that anyone can follow a path, but only a leader can blaze one. That's often not easy. If you're a leader, a lot of people depend on you. Family and friends need leaders who model purpose-driven lives. Children need leaders who help them reach their potential. Churches need leaders who chart the course and equip the saints. Businesses need leaders who build great places to work while making a profit. Communities need leaders who create a better place to live. As others depend on you, upon whom can you depend? The answer is God, the ultimate leader. And I think that Tim's leadership is God-given, and I think he has shown us that. And I really appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Put some money together to give Tim a gift certificate to Lowe's for some projects yet to be determined. Now, during those discussions, it became things like landscaping and yard work and planting trees. But in the course of listening to folks here and talking to maintenance people, apparently there's this plow thing you can put on the front of your truck. And it has a spreader on the back so that on ice and snow you can clear the roads. And they'd be very, very grateful for your help. On behalf of the managers, we're glad to give you a gift, but we are so ticked that you're leaving.
Tim, what would you like to have? What could we get you? And he said he'd like to take something that really he would remember us, and he said, I'd like to strip the office of all of the pictures that are on the wall. But they are wonderful pictures, and they're pictures and posters that that I think speak a lot about his heart and about the man. And this is our gift. God bless.
It's not often you get an opportunity after your last three bosses have spoken and you don't need a reference to make a few comments. But I will say this, it's been such a pleasure working with Fred, Randolph, and Jan, and they have inspired me, they have supported me through some pretty tough times, and I think we're better off with their leadership. They volunteer their time over and over, and they spend a lot of time here. And all of them got to spend time with me in the car going to Mission and back, and I learned a lot about them, and I won't tell you all of those things, but I just so appreciate their leadership to me, their leadership for this hospital, and their devotion to it. I can also tell you that I have always felt the support of the medical staff and all of you. And you don't know how much that means to me. But I will tell you also that as I've talked to people around the Western North Carolina, I'm totally convinced that we have the best hospital in Western North Carolina, bar none. And a lot of that is because we have the best people. We've got the best volunteers, we got the best leadership, and we got the best people in every job here. And I was making a list of the people I interact with the most often, and I can tell you the employers I've worked usually can find 4 or 5 superstars. That's not the case. We've got more than our share here. We've got 3 times or 4 times that number, and lots of stars too. So we just really are blessed here. I think there's lots of good things that's happened in the last 3 years. A lot of them have to do with some things I did, but also with things that were done before I got here. And I think there's things in progress that we'll see over the next few years. All the good things I'll take credit for. All the bad things we'll blame on Jan, I guess. I also will tell you that the kindnesses you show me make my job very rewarding. I will be a supporter of this hospital for a long time to come. And I will tell you the person that has influenced me the most. This is dangerous territory. And it's the person that I could talk through things and could be my mentor, and she would keep her mouth shut about the things. And that was Michelle. And she's been sort of my right-hand person, my times at Drake and at here, and I would not have done it without her, and I just appreciate her support. And she probably knows more about you all than you might know. If you want to know what I really think about you, check with her. But I do appreciate the send-off. I am worried about productivity in the hospital today. But I very much love all of you. I love the hospital, and I think we've got many, many good years to come with the leadership, with Marty and others that are in control of the hospital. But really, you all are the ones that make the difference. Thank you so much.
Friendship is a blessing, and we have been blessed by Tim, not only by his leadership, but by his friendship. And we at administration don't know how we're going to go on because you have been a mentor and a leader for us, bar none. And so we have truly been blessed by everything that you are and what you bring, not only your heart, but your spirit. And so when you think of the spirit of the hospital, know that where we are right now is a great deal due to Tim being here and who he is. So if you have a minute, make sure you come up and give him your warmest, because we will certainly miss him, but we will make sure he blesses our halls every so often, and as often as we can get him in, we'll make sure he's blessing us again. So thank you all for being here. Have a great afternoon.